Welcome to YouTooSpain, broadcasting live on YouTube. On today's show, I'll be asking our very good friend Chris from Upsticks all about the latest big news on immigration. We'll find out the new rule change that's overturned how many months you can be out of Spain for when you're a temporary resident. We'll also talk about how it'll affect your application for permanent residency, and we'll compare that with the rules for the Brexit Withdrawal Agreement residents, if we can find them. And here we go. But join in on the live chat, or if you're watching the video back afterwards, you can chat in the comments below. There'll be lots of handy information and lively chat for you from beginning to end, so stick around for the whole thing. You're all very welcome to YouTooSpain. Still alive! There we go. And get ready. Let's dance. Groovy baby. Right then, just before we get chatting, don't forget to sign up for free to the monthly newsletter from the website. That's YouTooSpain.com. It'll be there for the whole show. And a very quick mention for our lovely friends at Smart Currency Exchange, whom I highly recommend for when you're moving here or buying a property. Use the link below. This is really important. Use that link below to get in touch with them and get a free account with no obligation, because using that link doesn't cost you a penny and it helps YouTooSpain out too. It's a win-win-win with a cherry on top. Get that on the screen. There it is now. We can't forget that one today, can we? So, without further ado, let's meet my wonderful guest for the day. It's Chris from Upsticks. Morning, mate. How you doing?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm all right. Only 4 hours sleep, but yeah, what the hell? You only live once.
I know. I did see you responded to a comment of mine, but when I got up this morning, I made a mistake because I watched the Formula One and I put the alarm for 4 o'clock this morning, thinking that the qualification was at 4 and it was actually at 6. I got it the wrong way round.
Oh no!
So I ended up. That's when I saw your comment. So left have a siesta.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got nothing on. I did have a gig on this afternoon, but it was pulled because it was going to be the opening of the restaurant in Caneas next to the municipal pool, but he's pulled it. He's not quite ready to open yet for the new season.
Oh,
there you go. Hopefully it'll be next weekend. You never know. So I might have one next weekend.
Yeah.
So just to let everybody know, this show is also being streamed on Upsticks YouTube channel as well. So if you've got another device, watch it on there too. So Chris benefits from the watch hours as well, and subscribe to his channel because he's trying to catch me up. We've got a bet on that who can get to 10,000 the first.
Yeah, I am really trying to hook on the back of your channel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you're one of these water skiers on the back of a speedboat. Just
using your
grab
back.
on. And fantastic.
I actually got an email today from somebody because I mentioned in the video I did yesterday, just please let me know if you found me through the Skatz's channel or if you found me through Spain or the other way around. And I got an email this morning saying, well, actually, yeah, we did. It was great.
Fantastic. Yeah, you've got a few. I mean, we've shared a few with Sean in Expat in Matheron. I think Yogi came through from there, and there's quite a few people came through, but I think there's a few gone to him from me and probably from you as well. So we like it. We like share and share alike, don't we?
Yeah. Channels make. I think there's always a common misconception that people think the channels are against each other. They're not. They complement each other. People watch, the channels in the same sort of demographic that interests them. So, I certainly do. Even like I watch your channel, Sean's, and other ones relating to Spain. I have one in the background, and when you find another one, you're like, oh, brilliant, subscribe. So.
Yeah, there's not that many of us around, so yeah, it's good stuff. So shout outs, we've already done a shout out to Yogi and to Sean. Anybody else?
Yes, Mike, who was giving you a lot of the advice, I think, before. He watches channel. He's actually here now with his visa. Had an absolute dreadful experience in the Cancelada town hall yesterday where they were horrible to him. But apart from that, he's here, he's living. Well done, got your visa.
Which Mike? Is it Mike Ripper or the other Mike?
Fisk, Mr. Fisk.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Mike Ripper's down there in the live chat morning.
Yeah.
And yeah, anybody else before I go down the live chat and say good morning to everyone?
No, that's it. I think for today, that's what I had on my little list.
There we go. So Jason's Web. Somebody was trying to post a comment and ask me a question before we came online. Josephine O'Connor. We're online now, Josephine. Put your question down live. And Jason was just telling her how she could do that. Morning, Robbo. It's 4 degrees in Mortlake, which I found out was in London just earlier. And Jason is in Birmingham. It's 5 degrees there. Alicante Explorer says hello. Morning. And Steph, good morning. Jason's Web, already said you. Paul Cook, Lionel Knights, Andy Cooper, he's on your channel as well. Beverly, hello Bev. And Emily Mason. Oh, Ola from, let's put this one up. This is a nice one. Ola from sunny Ibiza, day 2 of our new life on the island. Big thank you to you, Skatz. We couldn't have made this happen without you, all your vids and great advice. Emily and David. How lovely to hear. And Paul Cook has got both channels streaming. And he says, don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. That's the thumbs up button on there. I think it looks like we've got quite a few people online this morning, so that's brilliant. And yes, Mike Ripper says morning all. And Jason says, Skatz, points make prizes. Yes, absolutely. And morning from Dominic. Sorry, I'm not sure. I should have clicked through and shown all of your comments just to get your names on there, but never mind. I've name checked you all now. And hello to everybody who's just joining. Lovely to see you. So before we get on to the big news, let's just do any other little news headlines that we've got. First one, the Calima. What's that all about?
Yeah. Well, I've been taking note of your titles and been making my thumbnails more shouty and
Yeah.
so I've got quite a few hits on that video. But yeah, I mean the Calima, again, it was scary when it first happened. I can remember being sat here in the office and just jaded and myself looking out the window going, what on earth is going on? We're in Mars. And then we came to work. It was Friday, wasn't it? No, Thursday. Thursday. And then when we left, it seemed it was going the same way. I looked, I was like, oh my word, please don't tell us it's back. So obviously, the Calima is the Sahara sand. It gets dragged up into the atmosphere and certain weather fronts brings it over to Spain. And then if it rains, it drops it on us.
Yeah, and it sticks like a putty.
It's like clay, isn't it?
Yeah. We've still got streaks on from the last one. Well, the last one was the biggest one. It's kind of once every 100 years you get the massive one, and it rains as well. Yeah. And everybody had to repaint their buildings. So it's funny. We've got these new apartments that aren't occupied yet, that have been sitting there. They were built years and years and years ago, decades even, I think, when they were first built. But they were never licensed to go ahead to complete. They couldn't get completion on them, I think. But last year they started reworking on them. They must have got everything sorted out, all the planning permissions. And one of the last things they did was paint the whole thing, so it's all painted beautiful and white. And then there was the news a couple of days ago, Calima's back. So I don't think it's as bad. It's not as bad up here. It didn't look as orange up here as it did down there on the coast, but we couldn't see the coast from here.
It wasn't as bad, and I thought, well, this is going to go one or two ways. Obviously, it's either going to clear up, and then it was really weird. It was like murky. It was like it was hanging about, but there wasn't any sort of prospect of rain. And then the following morning today, but we're sort of overcast. Mm-hmm. It's almost foggy, but not, if that makes any sense. So it's like there is something hanging in the atmosphere, but we had a lot of rain last night, but it didn't seem to bring any sand down, so I think it might have passed.
Oh, that's good. Well, I've seen there was a bit of sand on our windows and on the car window. That was on Friday. But I'm hoping it'll be all gone by Monday, because it is going to rain and the temperature is going to plummet. We're going to drop about 10 degrees up here.
I've just got my shorts out.
Yeah, I know, me too. I've been wandering around in that. I've got my jeans on today, but that's silly, really.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it doesn't come down. As Seb was saying, if it does, there's no way of cleaning anything, is there? So.
Yeah, let's have a look at what some people are talking about. The Calima. Bev says, was in Fuerteventura when there was a Calima. Not good for us asthmatics. It's not. You
Yeah.
should stay indoors. I've just ordered some masks for when I do my cancer treatment. So just to make sure I don't catch anything from anybody at the hospital. It's the worst place you want to be if you've got cancer.
Yeah.
All these people with germs. So, but I've got to pick those ones up. So I've got to walk through the Calima to go and get my masks from where I get my post. Steffi was saying, is Calima not regular on the mainland? We had about 5 or 6 in January in Lanzarote. Well, generally speaking, there is dust that comes over from North Africa because we're not that far away. It does get blown over, but it doesn't often become this serious. It's like the perfect storm when you get it all together, and when you get the big storm in Africa, and then the wind blows in exactly the right direction, and it drives into Spain, and then it rains, and that makes it worse. So yeah, so that's the Calima, and then there's the drought. And we talk about there's going to be a lot of rain on Monday, but it's not going to be enough to ease the drought crisis.
No, get your buckets out on Monday to fill them up because we're not allowed now here. Now, I know, so the obviously the Junta Andalucía has put a general rule in, and then, as always in Spain, other towns and blah put in their own, what they call decretos, the laws and local laws. And here in Alarin, it's at critical level. So they've now just put a new tube or pipe in to connect to Malaga, which has access to water from a dam, because we have well water here, in case the well water actually runs out, and that's it. We're on full ban now, so there's no hose pipes. You can't even fill up a paddling pool, can't fill up evidently your swimming pool, can't use water to water plants, so keep a bucket in the shower and let it cool down and use that. But yeah, it's real here in this town. It's real desperate times at the moment for water.
Yeah. And there's a swimming pool ban in most places. I think, is it municipal pools are okay? They're going to keep those open and filled, but you're not supposed to do private pools.
Not public pools, there's not, private pools. Now, it's not uncommon, as we were saying, for people to use tanker water, apart from that it's extremely expensive now because obviously they're going to take advantage of that. So, and that tanker water is generally filled up from wells. So it's nacimientos, they call them in Spanish. What's that? Birthplaces of water. Springs.
Yeah, springs. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, nacimientos. So, and they're even encouraging. They're even now encouraging. This is how bad it is. And I saw a video on it. This area encouraging people to get bottled water to drink because that's a sustainable source most of the time. Whereas if you're filtering it from the tap, it's still tap water, so it is quite scary, which is then extra expense for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what our landlord's doing because I think he's paying for it because he said it's all sorted. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
so
the drought in Calima, we're absolutely fine.
Yeah, apart from the drought and all the dust causing people to have chest infections. There we go. Also, Ant's got a question. This one's for you. Oh no, that's the wrong one. We've been looking at the Spanish translations of your catchphrases, and we particularly liked gisantes y pelusa. Is that a good translation of peas and fluff?
It is, yeah. More or less, pelusa is fluff. Yeah, definitely. That is gisantes y pelusa. Yeah, that is spot on.
I only learnt gisantes the other day because I was looking for different vegetables because there's a lot of vegetables I can't eat at the moment. And I saw these gisantes. I thought they look like peas. That doesn't sound like peas at all. But there you go. So it is. Well, let's see if there's any other questions that we need to answer. I've just scrolled past a load. Jason's Web is on a discovery trip in May, 5.5 weeks to go. Lovely. And Blah, 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 blah. Can't see. It's just a lot of hola. Lots of people saying hola. And do your thumbs up, everyone, says Ant. Okay. And also, we're becoming a little community thanks to Skatz and Chris. I wouldn't be where I am now in the non-lucrative visa process without these two leg ends. Brilliant.
Cheers. I spoke to Robert yesterday, actually, when we chat about vehicles and stuff. We had a good chat for half an hour.
Awesome. We'll get onto the big question in a minute. Just one from Kevin Elford. Morning, guys. Not often we make the live chat due to Friday evening sessions. Always catch up later. Keep up the good work. Kevin Tracy. Marvellous. We'll come to any more comments later. Let's get on to the big news, topic of the day. Well, we keep our audience interested, otherwise they'll all go, stop talking about things in the live chat. But here we go. Big topic. The 6-month rule, it's been abolished. So first of all, give us a quick summary of what this rule was all about before. What was it and how does it relate to temporary residency?
So basically, for people who have got temporary residence under the General Immigration Law of 2000, during that first 5-year period, you were not allowed to spend more than, and you're still not allowed to spend, we're going to come on to that though, more than 10 months outside of Spain in the first 5 years if you want to go into permanent residency. But during those 10 months, you could never, your allowance for 10 months, you couldn't have more than 6 months in any one go. And that would be cause for your, they call it extinction, they call it, of your residency. So
nice.
6 months outside the country would be a cause for the extinction of your residency.
And that would happen at when you tried to renew it, would it?
Yes, or when you come to renew it. It normally comes to light when you come to renew it. We actually, sadly, we had a case of a lady who we knew, who she got taken ill and had actually spent more than 6 months. I said, look, we would never normally even submit the renewal, but we tried, because I said, look, there's no harm in trying and explaining, but they just denied it straight away. So we know it definitely happens, and they know it. They were definitely not allowing anybody to spend more than 6 months out of the country during the period of a year when they come to renewal, allowing them to renew their visa. So that's what it was.
And then there was this case that was 2023 at some point about it was an Iranian woman, I think, that took her case to court because she'd had to stay out of Spain for longer for health or family reasons. Mm-hmm. And everybody said, oh, they've changed the rule now, they've abolished it. But so what happened there?
Yeah, so basically, Iranian lady, there's when you get denied your residency, there is a certain series of appeals that you can go to. So you can first start with a administrative appeal against the same entity. That's where most people can get their appeals turned around. After that, you can then take it to court, which then would mean employing the services of a procurador and a lawyer. I don't know what procurador is in English. It's a court hand or something. Mm-hmm. And this lady got her renewal denied, and she took it all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court then ruled in her favour, because they said that the rule in the law was abusive and was against basically the freedom of movement which is promised within the EU. Mm-hmm. Basically, so this court, the Supreme Court, said, but then you can't just allow one person to apply that law. Once the Supreme Court has gone ahead and said, actually, no, we don't agree, then basically that has to be written into law. And at that point, everybody, it was July, I think I said it on the video, I can't remember, was it July 24th last year or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Went crazy, didn't they? There was articles everywhere. There was one from Murcia today which had a photo of Almeria on it. And there was, it's all been abolished. But it hadn't been abolished at that point. It was only a precedent for something that was and could happen because it had been set. That obviously has to go through a whole period of paperwork and the courts and the government, etc., pass through Parliament, and then it gets written into the BOE. BOE, which is the official bulletin of Spain, where all the laws are published. Mm-hmm. That was actually made live, shall we say, on the 4th of March, which then stated that this part of that law has now been annulled.
Shall I put that up on screen? We've got a copy of the bulletin there.
Yeah.
The state bulletin, that's what it's called. Boletín Oficial del Estado. There it is. And that's the paragraph. I think you've got that marked on this one.
Yeah.
What does it say there?
Basically says that it declares null the 6-month ruling.
Yeah. Let's just get closer in on this, see if we can do that. Oh, oh yes, almost. Yeah, declared null the Article 162-2 blah 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 of the Real Decreto. What does that mean? Royal decree.
That's the royal law, basically.
The royal law.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. It's nice to get a translation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great. So that is now written into law. So, obviously it wasn't law before, but you could probably have taken it to court yourself and gone all the way to the High Court because of the previous case, because of that precedent being set. And
yes,
you could have argued it if you were thrown out at any point, but now you can't be at all.
Well, this is the thing now. Where we are, no, you can't. So we're on a temporary residency basis. If you spend more than 6 months outside of Spain, according to that, they can't deny the renewal of your residency.
Yeah. So yeah. Do all of the officials know all of this, and what are they going to do? This is the question. What don't we know?
This is the thing. This is very new. I mean, we don't have any test cases, do we yet? So we're going to see. So what we come down to now is as always, and I imagine that the subdelegations of the government work on a provincial basis. So when you do renew a temporary residency, you have to make that application to the immigration department of the government, and it's called a subdelegación. So it's a subdelegation of the main government in that province. Now, at that point, it's down to the interpretation of that subdelegation of whether you actually can apply that to your circumstance or not. So what we're assuming is now anybody who has spent more time out won't have a problem, but we haven't seen any interpretations from the provinces because we haven't seen any test cases yet. Mm-hmm. And as we know, their interpretations are extremely flamboyant on certain rules, depending on which province you're in.
Yeah, I'm sure Almeria will have a completely different idea of what it's all about. They'll probably give you 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or something like that.
Well, I mean, the two famous ones, which have completely different interpretations of everything, is Granada and Malaga, and their neighbours.
Oh, right.
So their interpretation of the withdrawal agreement requirements for the paperwork you had to submit was different. For the renewals, NLV renewals, it's different, to the point where Granada have their own way of dating the renewals. It's the only province who dates the end date of the renewal card from the time that you made the application rather than the time that you first entered in the country.
Wow.
So
it could be 90 days early, couldn't it? Anything up to 90 days.
Or late. So it's like you have to do it before. But so that brings into question, well, what happens if the resolution is issued and has that prolonged over the 2 renewal periods, your temporary residency for an extra 4 months? When you can prove that your entry date was this. So, those kind of things behind the scene happen all the time. To be honest, 4 months at the end of 5 years is not going to get anybody anyway if they're going for permanent residence. But it is comical to see their interpretation as different to their neighbours,
Talking about behind the scenes, that's Chris's son with a bit of a cough in the background there, if you were wondering.
Yeah, he's just. I have company today because I said, look, I'm always on my own on a Saturday morning. Do you want to come out? We've been given some jobs to do as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you both got a cough. You managed to hold it off. Well done for holding off the cough.
I'm doing well. I haven't got my can of Aquarius.
There we go. So here's a question that I don't know is covered on the documents at all on the bulletin, but so is there now no upper limit at all on how long you can stay out of the country for?
This is a good question. It's not covered on there. So the main thing is I expect that you have to spend at least 1 day in Spain during the year, because you have to do that on a golden visa. You have to show at least you've spent 1 day here. So there's no limit. It just declare. This is where we go back to the interpretation, because it doesn't say on there. All it says is that part has been annulled. It doesn't say you have to stay within. So this is a lot of the ambiguity that we have to deal with. So it's the same as when they say that you can take into an account a property as part of your financial stability for a renewal for an NLB, but don't state what percentage of the value of that property we can use. Things like that. So I think we're going to have, moving forward, people, and we'll see a lot of cases coming up where maybe people are saying, well, I've got my temporary residency and then I decided to do something else. I came back and they said, no, because I haven't been in the country for X amount of days. Is this right?
Yeah, so there could be lots of reappeals maybe from previous cases, and people saying, yeah, I've been out of, I left Spain in 2003. Can I come back in?
Well, I don't think because of the date on the ruling, I think anybody who had a ruling before the law was put into place may not have a chance to appeal. Because, but certainly moving forward, people who study it and make their plans based around that, we might see some interesting circumstances. So what I mean by that is people now, it probably wouldn't fit the demographic of our clients, to be honest, because generally our clients are coming to live anyway. Right. So the only way that our clients would take advantage of this rule would be in an emergency situation, I would suspect. Not planning on going through all that to get an NLV and then spend 7 months out. It just doesn't happen. So,
we'll move on to that in the second half, I think. All about permanent residency. Let's just have a look at the live chat, because there's quite a few questions going on.
Cool.
And Beverly's asking, this is about swimming pools. What about pools on complexes? That is interesting.
There's a big debate, isn't there, at the moment, because they're saying hotels can, complexes can't. So again, what they're saying is, just to reiterate, that they're saying you can't fill it up from tap water.
They're
not saying you can't use it. They're not saying you can't. What this means is people on complexes, they're on a complex. There's normally a community. There'll be a president of the community, and there'll be a fund which pays for certain things. Now you're going to have to pay for water to be imported in for the pool rather than opening the tap. That's what's happening.
So there are complexes who've said, no, we're going to shut down the pool.
I haven't heard of any yet, but I would imagine around May time, when everybody wants to get their feet wet, this is all going to kick off, because I would say that if you do need a tank of water for your pool, get it now, because you're not going to get it in the summer.
No, it's going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah. And
people are saying there's not going to be as many tourists coming over if they can't use the pools, because some people don't like to go in the sea.
They can. The hotels are okay though, apparently.
That is good. So, Woo58 says, good morning. If I visit Spain on holiday in a camper van, on entry am I required to provide proof of accommodation under current rules? That's interesting.
No. And no, you're good. Evidently, if you're a tourist, you have to stay within your allowance. If you've got we have to stay within your tourist allowance. But no, you don't need any proof. And evidently, Spain now, there's a big trend on these áreas, isn't there? They're not campsites; they're camper van áreas. Which are, if you look for them, there's some very handy websites. A good friend of mine is into this, that's what I know. And they're basically very, very cheap places to go get yourself filled up, empty your groundwater, or whatever they call it. And áreas, look for them. It's actually spelled like area.
Yeah. Áreas. And Jed Tierney's here. Good morning, Jed. Just been watching your dentist video, Skatz. That's nice for you. That's just very informative, actually. All the high-tech kit they've got that made this happen. Gleam. And Chris, I've been watching more of your videos too. FOF. Yes, feck off, Freddie.
I think there's a couple of questions, Jed, that you dropped on my channel. And what I do is, instead of actually writing them on the channel, if I can't find any Sometimes I share your links, Skatz, if it's something you've answered, especially if it's 9180. I'm just like, I'll watch this. Or a live that we've done. So we had one regarding permanent residency the other day, so I just put our live on. And the rest of them I answer now on the weekly update. So I'll just give them a like and I'll run through it.
Good stuff. And says, for your information, if bad climate Spain, it even gets here to a lesser degree. And they're in France, just in case you didn't remember. And S. Jacob says, what's the immigration change? That's exactly what we've been talking about. The 6-month rule has now been abolished for people on temporary residency for the time you can spend outside of Spain. I think that sums it up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It really does, yeah.
And Ant says, if you've not guessed yet, we're on both channels. Try it, y'all. We've all gone American there, y'all. And that should have read bad Calima in Spain. Oh, bad climate. Yeah. It's anyone know how to stop predictive text? You just shouted it, and you just shouted it. Give it a slap. No, there's you can turn it off somehow. I'm not sure if you can do it on YouTube though. Is it just in your settings? I don't know. There we go. There's something you can research. This is one from Jason. I did a Google search question. I asked, can I change from non-lucrative visa to work visa after 1 year? It said on the NLV, after 1 year, due to financial situation, you cannot sustain yourself any longer.
Yeah, we spoke about it. So you can change once you're here, and it's easier than just getting a work visa straight away.
It is, and you no longer have to, because you're already in Spain, you're kind of classed as the same as an EU worker, which means you don't have to wait until everybody else has been offered the job before you can be offered it. That's one of the differences, but it's still just as difficult to get a job, and in some areas there's a bit of high unemployment going on. So can you change to a full? Oh, that's just a continuation of the question. So yeah,
I think that's a good point to make though there, because I think when you do change and you're still within the temporary residency period, that is the 5-year period. Some people get confused that if you do switch, then you're going to lose that temporary status and have to start again.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you go from one to the other, then you should be able to get your permanent residence at the end of the 5 years. That's my understanding of it. So I've never done a case like that, to be fair, but as long as you maintain your temporary residency, then you should be fine.
There we go. Just noticed your 2 t-shirts. Oh, it's that we're wearing the Spain flag between us. Ant says we're wearing yellow and red.
Of course, it was planned.
Yes, completely planned. This one's it's a lovely shade of orangey yellow. Yeah, very sandy. And somebody new, Sound Grounder Music. Greetings from sunny Southport. Also with a bit of seasonal rain, wind thrown in, no signs of a Calima yet. Yeah, I'm not sure you'll get it up in Southport. It may get as far as France, but don't think much further.
I thank Soundgrounder for coming onto our channel as well, because I recognise that fantastic thumbnail from their profile. I was like, wow, that's a thumbnail and a half.
Yeah, indeed, it is.
Looks like a fun party.
Yeah. Beverly's got a question that we're going to answer in the second half. So we'll. Is it still? Oh no! Is it still a total of 10 months in 5 years?
Yeah. We're going to answer that.
We'll answer that in the second half. Mad David says good morning. Woo58 says thanks for your answer, guys. Mike Ripper's talking about campervans, park for night and search for sites. Oh, is that the websites for all the areas? There we go. That's handy to know. Robert says, Chris, you've been in Spain for 25 years? Or is it 22, 23? When was the last time Spain had a drought situation like now?
As serious as now, I've never seen it.
No.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it as serious. Now, so where we are now, I'm 15 years in Malaga. And I've never seen it in Malaga this serious. And then before, when I lived in the Granada province, we were actually quite fortunate to live in a Loja, which is the city of water. So we have this comes off the mountains. It's never a problem there. But no, never seen it like this.
Yeah, some of the lakes are down to something like 8% of the water, which means they're not officially classed as a lake anymore or a reservoir anymore. It's just a puddle, which is I shouldn't laugh about it. It's not good. So we've just been joined by John the Joiner. Hey, that's appropriate. He says, hello lads, we're not late. Watching on the wife's phone. FOF, still alive. And Jason says, thank you. I'm meeting some YouTubers in Spain when I'm there, so we'll ask for advice on working there in the future. Yeah, that's a good idea. And John McClue is back. Hello. Morning, guys. Great show.
Hey, John.
And Jason says, might drive down to Matheron to see if Clive is about. Who's Clive? Do you know Clive? Is he a mate of Sean?
Might be Sean.
Yeah. No. Right. Tell you what. Then we'll go for the halfway break. Mm-hmm. So don't go away, everybody. Have a watch of this. This is a bit of fun in the middle of the show. With my alter egos, or the voices in my head. I don't know what you want to call them, but we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Enjoy. Are you getting the most out of YouTooSpain? I don't know. Did you know that apart from these Saturday morning live shows with expert guests, or expats with really exciting stories to tell, it's like the Graham Norton show. Bah! There are videos every Wednesday evening, packed with all the information you need, so we can move to Spain and enjoy living here without paying tax. No, Colonel, that's illegal. But you can find out how to navigate the bureaucracy successfully. Well said, Walter. How do I find the videos? Just subscribe to the YouTube channel, darling. And click on the bell, you useless Colonel. There's a playlist here called Video Diaries. Ooh, now that is Skatz's personal story about life in Spain. And his battle with cancer. Still alive! Hashtag FOF. You can support him too. He needs you, my darlings. The poor bugger can't even stand up. If he was a horse, I'd shoot him. Colonel! He's not a very nice man. It's all right. He's just a two-dimensional stereotype. Aren't we all, sweetie? I'm not. Brexit! Moving on! How do I support Skatz? Use the QR code in the corner. Or there's a link in the video description below. I think he's worth every penny, but I can't find the link anywhere. In the video description, you idiot. I've warned you, Colonel. I'll send you back to the nunnery. While you're watching or pausing, below the video you'll see the title, just here. Oh, I see it. It says, read more. That's right. Just click or tap on that and lots more text appears. What's the information all about? There's contact information for the expert guests and lots of links to other related companies that I recommend. And they help out YouTooSpain if you use those links to get in touch with them. There's so much down below. Ah! Does anyone have a pen? No need, Tommy. You can find everything on our website, YouTooSpain.com. And don't forget the Facebook page and the YouTooSpain community group, where you can talk to other people like you. There's no one like me, sweetie. Thank goodness. Is that everything? There's a guest waiting to tell me things. Oh, I do like things. Where's Doogie Dog? That used to be his line. I'm stuck behind a wall. Oh, sorry, Doogie. I'll come and find you after the show. Thank you, Master. Get back to the show. I need to go and punch some servants. Oh, Colonel. Back to Skatz in the studio. Thank you very much, Skatz, who's not in the studio, and Walter and Dick and Tommy and Colonel and Doogie Dog. Don't worry, Doogie, I'll find you and get you from behind that wall. That really was a bit of lazy filming, wasn't it? Just couldn't be bothered to do any puppetry that day. Yeah, it's good fun. Maybe we can do the whole show from behind a wall.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so let's just check on the live chat that we've not got any more questions come in while all of that has been going on. I think all Steffi says I think the UK had all your rain over winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could just start importing water from Manchester or somewhere like that, the city of rain. Um, so, any other questions? Are there any other Woo 58ers? Are there any other B&B type of websites in Spain where I can rent a property for 10 days or so? Don't know.
No, I usually use Airbnb. Airbnb's huge.
Well,
Can't think of any.
Booking.com's the other one that's
Yeah.
yeah. And you just on booking.com. I think you have to. No, I don't know. I just use that one for hotels. Mark Thompson says you need therapy. Morning, guys. Yeah,
We
probably. I'm starting therapy on Monday, but it's a different kind of therapy. Yeah. So, Andy in Spain. Here's an interesting question. How do they know how long you've been out of the country? So now it's a total of 10 months limit and a period of 5 years. Yeah, nothing's changed there.
Yeah.
Averaging then 2 months a year.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Initially, when you make your renewal, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Allergies. Start again. So initially, when you do your renewals, you have to look at the documents that we have to submit. Now, we have to submit a full copy of the passport. What we've had in the past is when there's been a passport where they've identified that stamps don't match up, or they've identified that someone's actually been out of the country, and I'm assuming that the Policía Nacional frontiers have access to Interpol details as well, for people moving about. Then they've requested certain things like proof of travel documents, etc., etc. So the initial thing is with the passport. Now, when we've been going through the renewals, we've managed to solve any questions or problems using proof of travel where stamps haven't been available.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Hope that answers your question, Andy in Spain.
I did have a question from somebody who said, well, if I drive to France, how will they know how many days I've spent in France? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't have the behind the scenes. I'm not saying the police officer wish I knew. I assume that there is camera recognition on cars and stuff like that, but whether they would know if you're in France and Portugal, borderless.
Yeah, and could they tie all of that information together and go, has this person, and then it finds out where you've been, but I don't know. That sounds a bit Big Brother. Conspiracy theorists would love that, wouldn't they? They'd say, yeah, we can tell, we know where you've been and we know where you are. I mean, yeah, there is the technology there that registers where you are, but it's whether they can pull it all together and whether they're bothered enough to pull it all together.
When you're talking about, so in Almeria, it was published about 36,000 applications on the national, so it's on the general immigration law. We're not talking about EU going through last year. Whether they go for that effort for every single one, I very much doubt it.
I used to see these whenever I see a conspiracy theory that says, I mean, they talk more about America than anywhere else and say, the CIA can track you everywhere. They're tracking everything that's being said on the internet, and so that's how they catch terrorists and people talking about little words that they're putting in that are the sort of things that terrorists say, and so they can track you anywhere, and they're watching you all the time. But you just think about it, how many billions of people there are. They're not tracking everybody, because you'd need billions of people just to be doing the tracking. And even with a really large computer, a very, very fast computer, you can't find most of the criminals they track are accidentally pulled over by a speed cop, and accidentally caught, and then suddenly they find out what else is going on in their life when they start questioning them. So.
Yeah, I think they'd be bored if they trapped me, but
yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah,
we're like, I mean, there's other conspiracy theories about people saying about they track your shopping, so they'll be able to tell how much alcohol you sort of buy and stuff like that, But on the other end, the other side to that is that if you are law abiding and live a relatively boring middle-aged life, I'm not saying I do, but the algorithms is what helps people find us. Yeah. So do put ourselves out there. So when people are talking about Spain and whatever, they get within the community and they find us find us that way, don't they? So in some, thank you for the tracking, because you can find us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the advertisers that are they're the CIA of the internet, aren't they? They're the ones who they know everything about you.
Your phones listen. You know, we're talking about something, and it always pops up on your phone.
Yeah, that is scary.
It's scary.
But why should we be scared? It's been happening for decades, and is our quality of life better?
We had Jane was saying to me in the office, this is the latest scariest one we had about a series on Netflix. The one, I can't remember what it's called now. It's the Guy Ritchie one, and when I got home, it popped up as recommended. I hadn't said it. So
no. Scary.
No, The Gentleman, wasn't it?
Ah, yes, yeah. Andy in Spain, so I think not quite got the right idea. Let's go for this, what we were going to ask. How will this affect people wanting to get permanent residency after 5 years?
Yes, so the permanent residency at the moment, the larga duración, is exactly the same. So the fact that people on a temporary basis now looks like they're going to have a lot more freedom to move around. When you get to that 5 years, if you haven't stuck within the allotted time of only being out 10 months within your 5 year temporary residency period, you won't be given your permanent residence. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. So if you have got a plan only to spend 4 or 5 years in Spain, not go for the permanent residency, then you may find you've got more flexibility. But if your plan is ultimately to go for that, then you still have to stick within the 10-month rule in 5 years.
Yes, and this is people who are on visas from after the withdrawal agreement.
This is correct. Yeah, this is what we're talking about the withdrawal agreement. So this is in general immigration law. When you read the withdrawal agreement, it says in it that everybody who doesn't fall into this after the 1st of January 2021 will then fall into general immigration law. Hence why everybody's doing, or a lot of people are doing NLVs to move over and using that as a platform or other visas. Within the withdrawal agreement, and I was desperately trying to find where it was written. I found a million websites where it says it, but I couldn't actually find it in the law itself. You can't spend in any 1 year up to more than 6 months out during your temporary residency period, but the 10-month rule doesn't apply to the withdrawal agreement applicants.
Okay, so quick question for Andy in Spain. Were you here before the withdrawal agreement, or did you arrive afterwards? Or are you just, or have you not arrived at all? Because the answer to your question depends on your answer to that question.
Yeah.
Morning from Barry from Unitech. Late again, sorry. Have you got a note from your gran? There we go. And Ant says, born near Manchester in days of yore, born with an umbrella on your head. Yes, absolutely. It's well known as being rainy city. Oh no, just clicked on the wrong one. No, I've clicked it on again. These things are moving by so fast, I keep clicking on the wrong ones. 36 watching, only 4 likes. Hit the like button, guys. It says 60 watching on my thing. It's just impossible to tell exactly how many people are watching, but there will be lots watching afterwards. You know, up to 1,000 watching in the following weeks and months. So yes, do click on the like button. It's very important to us. John Carrington says, just thought I'd let you know, after weeks of watching you, I've at last find out how I can post here. There you go. I was going to say tell everybody else, but unless they know how to post, then they probably can't even see the live chat. So yeah, look for the live chat. Brilliant. Well, nice to see your name, John. And so Andy's not answered the question yet. So basically, shall I just really quickly summarize it? Let's see, and then Chris, you can tell me if it's right. So people who arrived before the withdrawal agreement and have been here a while anyway. You've nearly been here for 5 years already, most of you. But anyway, if you arrived before the withdrawal agreement, you can actually stay out of Spain for up to 6 months every year, even if you're only a temporary resident. But if you arrived after the withdrawal agreement time, after Brexit, then you could still stay out of Spain for up to 6 months in the year. That's not changed. But if you want to go for permanent residency at the end of 5 years, you have to have only left Spain for 10 months in total out of those 5 years, which works out at 2 months a year. But it's not, it doesn't have to be in 2 months. It could be one lot of 6 months and one lot of 4 or something like that. But anyway, it just stops you getting permanent residency. So you've got to keep on going as a temporary resident.
Yeah, so, that's exactly it.
Brilliant. Good.
It brings up all sorts of questions. So what happens if one of you in a couple stays within that time period and the other one doesn't, and one gets permanent residency? Can the family member then apply it as a family member of the permanent residence? There's all sorts of things at the moment which are going through our heads to think of circumstances that, as I say, I think it might only be emergency circumstances that our clients use it, but there will be people who are looking there thinking, wow, I can get a temporary residency in Spain and use that flexible to travel around Europe now,
Yeah.
Not staying within your Schengen allowance.
I'm going to flash that up on screen. That's relevant there. It depends, or depende. I should get Spanish ones printed as well, because I like depende. I think that would make a good t-shirt.
It does raise so many different circumstances down. You're pretty much boxed off before, whereas now it's people are going to be going, well, can I? Yeah,
can I just wander around? Have we got a better freedom of movement than we had before?
But obviously then that restricts you within your Schengen allowance within other countries, but then if you can, depending where you come from, you go back to your home country if you want to do that. There's so many circumstances now which people might be able to try and manipulate that. And we don't know yet what the response, as we said before, of the sub-delegations is going to be when people go for renewal. So the cat is slightly amongst the pigeons in this one.
That's a good expression. The cat is slightly among the pigeons. It's just hovering on the edge of the pigeons. Let's share. I've not even got to the questions from Facebook yet. There have been some come up on and also on your YouTube channel. I think I've got some of those. I've printed them off. So let's have a look at what we've got. The first one, I think you've answered this already, but I said I'd put this question up. Alice Thompson says, how does this affect the non-lucrative visa? Oh, and the second part of the question is, will I be able to work?
I think we explained about the NLV, didn't we? I think it doesn't. It affects in the fact that if you want to go for permanent residence, as we said, you can't. You're still going to stay within your allowance, and no, you won't be able to work on an NLV.
Yeah, that's never going to change.
No. Or will it? Have you seen the motion? I dug this out. This
is there?
Well, I saw on one of the YouTube channels that I watch in Spanish about immigration that a complete motion to reform the immigration law has been put forward to the government. So I've got to dig out more information. Could you imagine how big that would be? That would be an exclusive, wouldn't it?
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a whole show on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one is... This relates to a comment that you made on your video. So that is Thomas saying, what do you mean by saying it might be good for people who are not planning to get permanent residency? I thought the NLV was about getting permanent residency. It is for most people.
Yeah, I don't know. I just waffle on in my videos and forget what I've said.
You were quite concise actually on that video. That was really good. It was almost like you had a script in front of you.
And I didn't actually. I have been better though. I've been structuring videos lately. I've been taking advice from across the YouTube community, but instead of just waffling on, the NLV is about getting permanent residency. But as we know, we have the temporary residency period you have to go through first. So you don't. I think what the answer to that question is the moment you get your residency after you've registered your non-lucrative visa, it's not a permanent residence straight away. I think that's where that question was going. So you are allowed to live in Spain, but it's under a temporary residency basis period for the first 5 years.
Great stuff.
But I can understand why people get confused between the temporary and the permanent, because the moment they got the visa, they get the residency card, they think, well, I'm permanently here now. Why isn't that permanent? And that's where, you know, these lovely videos come in.
Absolutely. And Simon Hopkins, and this is not a question, it's just a thank you. Thanks for sharing this information, Chris, and for offering your thoughts on what it means. I have to hold my hand up and say I found your channel via Skatz, though. There we go.
Brilliant.
That's good to know. So you're catching me up.
Yeah.
One person at a time. You need about 5,000 more.
Let's get you to 10 and me to 3, and I'll be happy if we could do that via.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be long before you get to 3. You're at 2.66, I think it said this morning on yours.
Yeah, we're getting about 60 to 70 a month at the moment, subscribers. That's 2 a day. That's not bad.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm about 200 a month, I think. But that's what happens. It speeds up as you get more and more. Yeah. There we go. And yeah, I'm getting on for 8,000. I think it's 7,700 and something, which is always good. I look at it all the time. Always brings a smile to my face when you suddenly get a little peak and it jumps up.
Yeah.
So here's another one from your YouTube under the video. Corgisaurus says, great. For those of us that... Oh, actually, he's been sarcastic. Great. Sad face. For those of us that want permanent residency, we are still landlocked. So much for being able to travel in retirement. Well, you just have to wait for the 5 years as before. That was always the same, wasn't it?
There's worse places to be landlocked.
That exactly, yeah.
This you can go to the beach and ski on the same day, and we're cool being landlocked.
Yeah. Why would you want to leave?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm biased though, and I'm very pro Spain, and you know, so and I must admit, you know, we want to try and maybe do some more traveling outside a sort of Mediterranean environment, but I definitely sympathise with Corby. But if it would take you the first 5 years just to see the different elements and aspects of Spain, you know, and that's without probably traveling to the north. It's huge.
Yeah, I keep saying to Ant and Kez, I want to go and visit France again, but there's so much of Spain, either so much of Malaga province that I haven't seen yet, and Axarquia, and which is kind of part of Malaga and part of somewhere else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you call Axarquia? It's not a province. It's not one of the regions. It's not. It's just
It's a region. I said it'd be a region. Be a region of it, wouldn't it? It'd be, so we've got Guadalhorce would be the you know, that'd be a wouldn't be a region, would it? It's the
It's just a kind of an area, but it goes over provincial boundaries. Some of them.
It would be like a county, wouldn't it? I suppose in the UK, something similar to a county inside of a township. No, it wouldn't, would it? I don't know.
No, because they kind of go over borders. I'm sure Axarquia goes into Granada province at the top end of it.
Of course, yeah, it would.
Yeah. So yeah,
no.
Don't know. That one confuses me. But Axarquia is lovely, and I think we're in it. I think we just fall within Axarquia.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, good stuff. Barry from Unitech says, where is it? Have more cats in your videos. Subscribers like cats or cars. True. Anything beginning CA. What was that? What was that from Scrooged, the film Scrooged, where the head of the studio comes up and suggests that they have more put more mice in your shows because cats love them. and how many of our viewers have got cats? So yeah, ridiculous. That was comedy, and you've obviously seen that. And
but I haven't seen Lanzarote, you know. Emma, who I met over there, saw my daughter and went, "I know your hamster," and I was like, "That's how does?" And it was, of course, it was on one of the shows that she just like, well, one of my videos, the weekly update. She came up and showed a hamster. Then I remembered. I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, the hamster's been on YouTube." Yeah,
fabulous.
Great party.
Robbo was saying, Skatz, I watched your video with Sean, or Clive, as he's known to Jason. Yeah, you were having a conversation about that. I couldn't quite follow it. Why is it? Is Clive Sean or is Clive somebody else? I don't know. And you mentioned music you play and like. If you haven't already, please listen to an Irish band called Hothouse Flowers. Oh yeah, baby now don't go, don't leave me now, now, now. Remember that? It was on. They played in the bit on the Eurovision Song Contest after they finished all the songs, and they go, let's wait for all the scores to come in and the judges to come up, and they have this break, and the Hothouse Flowers appeared on when it was being held in Ireland. I think it was after Johnny Logan had won one year back in the 90s, and they sang that song "Don't Go," and there's a video up of them on a cliff on the west of Ireland, and I heard that song and went, why have they not got that on there, because that's way better than all of the songs that were on there that had been from all of the other different countries. Anyway, so yeah, I've heard of the Hothouse Flowers. Thanks very much. Brilliant band. And I think one of the Hothouse Flowers came and visited the part of Ireland that I was in when I lived there, and did a jam session on the little island just off the coast. Great bloke. And Anthony's talking Spanish again. Es un triunfo, gana, gana, gana con una cerveza en la parte superior. Yeah. Yeah, what does that mean?
It's a win-win-win with a cherry on top.
Oh, yeah, brilliant. Fabulous. Yeah, good. I'm going to take a screenshot of that one. There we go. Or maybe just send me them all, and send me them all on an email. Cereza, is it?
So por la parte de arriba, yeah. Por la parte superior.
Por la parte, rather than en la parte.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You've got to use your ends and your paws in the right way. Oh, Lisa here, but hello, Lisa. Good to see you. If Supreme Court ruled 6-month rule as abuse of free movement of people, why is abuse of free movement allowed regarding out of Spain for 10 months in 5 years? Well, yeah, because is it an abuse of free movement?
It's proof of permanent residency, so you can't, it's that's their permanent residency rule. So but yeah, I mean, 10 months outside is quite little time, I suppose. But if you wanna, the thing is, I think this will be more related into the benefits that you get once you're a permanent residency. So Spain wants to prove that you have lived here as a citizen to achieve those benefits. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you've got to put the effort in, haven't you? You've got to stay here.
I'd say that you couldn't just get your residency, mess about, and then get permanent residency, the benefits that pertain to being a permanent resident if you haven't stayed here. I'd imagine that would be the reason behind the 10-month outside rule.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. John McClue says, I'm not sure what this relates to, but it was a few minutes ago. Does that mean you're going back into the camper van, Chris?
Never.
Never,
John. Never in a million years. No, but the good thing about that little disastrous holiday last year was that Lara has never said another word about getting a camper van.
Wow.
That is good. That was the 5 days of the horror.
Is she just going to get you to go in a tent next time?
Don't mind camping.
You
don't mind camping, on a campsite and with a big tent. We've actually got a big tent, a 6-man tent. One of those decathlon things that you like 10 minutes and you go boom, 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 boom.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah. Borrow it one time. We'll go camping. But,
yeah, cool. Let's have a camping trip.
I'm not doing camp vanning.
No. Robbo says it was in the late 80s and Celine Dion won that year's Eurovision. Good to know. I thought it was in the 90s. Doesn't time fly? Late 80s. It's only like 35 years ago. So Barry says, I was down in Naas and Wexford last week. Very nice. One of my clients, this is east of Ireland. There we go. One of my clients has bought some factories there. First time in the south. Oh yeah, sorry. Southeast. Lovely motorways. Motorways in the southeast? I don't know. Don't remember there being any motorways. Was there a motorway down to Wexford from Dublin? I don't know. When I drove over from the east coast to the west coast, I didn't touch the motorway for more than about 5 minutes. There we go. That's the talk of Ireland. Let's have... how do you pronounce this name? Sadel Asmare. Very good. Hello, my brother was adopted to Spain. He's 22 now. Can he take me to Spain, and how?
Oh, well, a family reunification. If he's 22 and you're not a beneficiary, I don't think he can, to be honest with you.
No, you can't do it with. You can't. Siblings doesn't work, does it? It has to be. It has to be parents.
Unless he opens a company and brings you in a highly professional visa or something along those lines. I don't know. But,
Can you do that? Because I had a question on Facebook, all about a guy saying, "Yeah, it's me and my brother want to come over and have a company in Spain. So what visa do we go for?" And I was saying, well, this depends on whether you. Oh yeah, he was saying, do we both have to apply for a self-employment visa? And I was saying, well, there must be a way of you bringing him in to work for you but just one person being autonomo. Is that possible?
If one person came first, I mean, but you need an awful lot of money for that sort of setup,
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. Yeah,
it's a tricky one.
It'd be a tricky one. Yeah, I mean, they consider companies to be individual entities, and then the director would be the autonomous. So if it was the company who was bringing someone over, if your brother set it up, it wouldn't matter who set it up, but it'd be an option for him to set up a company, bring you in. But you would need an awful lot of money to set, obviously, and it would have to be a real and effective company trading. So that's probably a stupid thing to say on my behalf, anyway.
Okay.
But it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, in theory, it's possible.
As a beneficiary, I don't think you would.
Yeah. Jer Bork says, "Hi guys, I'm Irish." Lovely. Me too. Well, that's what my passport says. I'm moving to Spain early June with my non-EU spouse to exercise my EU treaty rights and not wait 12 months plus for spouse visa for Ireland. Any advice? Yeah, well, actually, this relates also to a question that came in on Facebook. So I'll just put that one up very quickly because I said I'd mention the name. And this is Stefan. Quick question. Me and my partners, they're both EU citizens and want to move to Spain, buy a property and live there. Tell me what, we'll come back to that one because they're both EU citizens and that's different. Talk about Jer's case first.
Yeah, so Jer, if I to exercise 3, you're at 12 months, and so that's you with your your non-EU partner, basically. Yeah,
yes.
Is that
just right. the same as we are.
Right, okay, yeah. So obviously the EU citizen comes in and has to register their residency as I did with you, Skatz.
Mm-hmm.
To get your residency within a day, and then the non-EU citizen has to apply to the subdelegation as a beneficiary of the EU status. And once you receive your approval, that person will have the same rights as you have, albeit a different residency card.
Yeah, they'll get a TIE, and you'll get a flimsy, useless piece of paper with a bit of plastic on it.
Because it's a registration. It's not we call it residency, but it's a registration on a list of EU citizens who live in Spain. Yeah. That is really what it is. It's a proof that you're registered. Everybody calls it residency, quite rightly so, but it's actually a registration, whereas the permission is what you get if you're non-EU.
There you go. So, any other advice for Jer? Just get in touch with Chris and
book a call on the website or drop an email to support@upsticks.es. And whilst the EU treaty rights and not wait 12 months plus for spouse visa for Ireland.
Oh, that
what's that?
Are you talking about your spouse getting an Irish passport? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, okay. Yeah, your spouse need an Irish passport, but obviously,
It said spouse visa, though. Yeah.
If you are, I don't know how it would work in Ireland because I don't understand that side of things. But if, for example, you did come here to Spain as an EU and a third country national, managed to get residency, and then your spouse got the Irish passport, they can always pass on to that platform. They can always go from being getting the residency from a British passport, or whatever third country national they are, onto the EU passport, and that's something that we're seeing more and more and more, and that we're doing quite a lot.
Yes. And that's only going to happen if they have a parent or a grandparent, because it couldn't happen in my case. I did it through naturalisation, but you have to actually be living in Ireland to get that, so you can't kind of transfer once you've moved. Because, like, for example, Liz, even though she lived in Ireland for 8 years, she can't now get an Irish citizenship and an Irish passport because we've now moved out. You've got to be resident in Ireland to get one. So that's another, it depends. Get in touch with Chris is the thing. And what's the waiting time at the moment for TIE, etc.?
For the moment, depends where you are. So, what's the waiting time for TIE, etc.? In Malaga, we've had resolutions for EU family members through in a week and some in 4 months. There you go. You tell me. Alicante at the moment is running around 2 months, but it really depends where you're applying to.
It took a while for ours to all. I mean, it didn't take a while for Liz's card to come through, but the whole process of us arriving right the way through to Liz getting hers was about getting on for 6 months. It took that long because of we had to get the NIE first, and then our car broke down, so you had to get the NIE. We had to get the power of attorney and etc. for you to do that. So there were a lot of things that made ours last, and it was about day 89 when we applied for Liz's residency.
Right on the cusp, wasn't it?
It was, because I didn't actually set my business up until like January, and we moved in October. So, and if you wanted to be working, Jer, or self-employed, in order to get your healthcare, then you'll need to get your NIE number first. You'll have to do it in a different order, but speak to Chris about that.
Yeah, we can do that. Do you remember your healthcare certificate arrived on the same morning we had your appointment, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was all on the wire. So yes, any more questions we've got on there? Oh yeah. Let's go to that. Let's just go to the question that I put up before. This is for Stefan. Was saying, quick question, me and my partner are both EU citizens and want to move to Spain, buy a property and live there. We're both self-employed. So so this is relevant. What would the normal process look like? So get your NIE first.
Get your NIE first. We would normally, to be honest with you, let you have a conversation with Antonio, the accountant, first to see what the self-employment setup actually is. Okay, because obviously we know that Spain has the Autonomo platform, but you would speak to an accountant first. So we'd get your NIE first, speak to the accountant, and then we would know the time sort of line for when you need to register and what documents we could use from your self-employment to then get your EU residency. Basically, so we've got a few going through like this at the moment, actually, where the NIE is in process or has been done. And it turns out that one of them has to wait a month or so to register, which then basically dictates when we can do the residency.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff. So, hope that answers your question, Stefan. I don't think either of us have done a video that's just about an EU citizen moving over, just an EU couple.
I think I need to do more about that, especially on the self-employed basis, because we look at it. I'm working more with Antonio on this. Actually, we're going to do a lot more together, because a lot of the stuff that I talk to Antonio about is conflicted in terms of how he needs to structure the finances and as an autonomo. So he'll be saying to me, well, actually, it's not interesting to do it now, because this is when they really need to, because of tax thresholds and the time of the year, etc. And I'm just looking at it from a residency point of view, thinking, give me the paperwork. So then we're having to do a sort of a balance of that. So it's certainly something that you have to be a little bit careful in these circumstances as an EU citizen, that when you're working with an accountant, you're working with a residency specialist, that both of them are talking, because they'll both have a different idea of when they want to do things, and it depends on basically your fiscal setup as to when you can go ahead with the residency.
Maybe we should do a show with me, you, and Antonio.
Yeah.
I was just speaking to him, messaging him only yesterday, arranging to have him back on the show again because it's about time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's work it all out. There we go. Hope that answers your question, Stefan. And Julie Upcott has got a good question. Yes, hi Julie. And she couldn't fit all of this on one live chat comment, but let's see what we've got. I've read on another site that you can apply for a civil partner on the renewal of the NLV if you're not married, but can prove you have joint assets, i.e. bank account, house deeds, etc.
Yeah, and if civil partnerships hold the same weight as marriage certificate, as long as you've got your civil partnership documentation, and the joint assets as well always helps.
Yeah.
But yeah,
good. So there's no problem on doing that then.
We've done civil NLVs on civil partnerships as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you get your civil partnership proof. Again, it's the same. You have to have the certificate apostilled and translated if it comes from the UK. If it's a civil partnership from Spain, you might have as individuals got pareja lecho. Obviously, that's not needed. But yeah, civil partnerships hold the same way.
Oh, that's good. There we go. And that was the second half. Sorry, couldn't fit it all in. The site I saw this on was a Spanish solicitor's site. So, yeah, seems they're telling the truth.
Yep.
You just never know with solicitors, do you?
I think sometimes there's a lot of confusion whether if you haven't got a civil partnership and a marriage in place, whether you can use a joint application, because you initially can at the consulate. So a lot of people actually get away with it at the consulate because they don't always ask for the marriage certificate. And then when they come here, the sub-delegations are a lot stricter, basically. So the initial application as unmarried couples, they will take, in the consulate seem to take into account the joint assets, but not so much on renewal unless you've got one of those documents in place.
Right. Jez, just a follow-up question. I think this is, what is the waiting time for his residency? He's put it in inverted commas because it's a registration rather than because it's an EU.
If you get someone decent behind the desk, about 15 minutes if your paperwork's okay.
Yeah, ours didn't take long. It took a while to get the appointment. It took like over a month, didn't it?
And they're running terribly at the moment. They're running in May at the moment.
Yeah. And what is the name of your website? Mochara. What's that? What's Mochara? Don't understand that. Name of your website, Chris, is upsticks.es. And there you go, it's on the shirt. And ours is YouTooSpain.com, just in case you were asking me. David Dack, hi guys, back. It's driving me nut what to do about moving over. Get in touch with Chris and arrange a call.
Yeah.
And Ant says, sorry to leave early. Got to go, folks, to birthday lunch for A&K the Younger. TTFN, buen fin de semana, y'all. Happy weekend. There we go. So David Dack says, can we still get NIE number? Yeah. Just about anybody can get one of them, even if you're not coming over.
Again, NIE numbers, remember if you're a third country national that there's strict controls on whether you spent too long in the country, and because you have to present a full copy of your passport with all the stamps. One thing to be very aware of, if you are a third country national like a Brit and you get somebody to get an NIE number on your behalf with a power of attorney or something, and they don't get that appointment for a month or 6 weeks and you've already left the country, but they haven't got a copy of your passport which proves you've left the country, they can come across problems.
There you go.
Julie
says, this site said that no civil partnership paperwork was needed.
Oh, right, okay.
Interesting.
I don't know what site you're talking about.
Yeah. Robbo says, is it less paperwork for years 2 and 3 than years 4 and 5? It's about the same, isn't
it? About the same.
Yeah. And yes, is renewal costs less or the same or more? Is that less than the initial application? Yeah. Yeah, because you don't have to pay the big fee at the start, do you?
Yeah.
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 And Andy in Spain. Oh, we're talking cancer. Let's go. Had colorectal cancer 10 years ago. Had a resection, chemo and radiation. All good. So you've got this. Feck off, Freddy. FOF. Thanks very much, Andy. If anybody wants to watch the video diaries, they come out on a Friday on this YouTube channel, by the way. Oh, Jer says, Moshara, it's Irish for my friend. I should have known that, really. I didn't learn enough Irish when I lived there. But thank you for letting us know. And Steffi says, we'll finish off in a minute. Here we go. Talking of stamps, is it all electronic now? Not quite. Our latest trip to Lanzarote, no stamp in or out, all electronic gates. Oh, so they read your passport in there. So it's not totally. Some airports have got the machines that read your passport. When EES, is it called EES and then ETIAS? Once all of that comes in, then it'll all be electronic.
Just make sure you keep your proof of travelling. We've had that with renewals in Lanzarote, and then people are just giving us flight tickets and stuff to prove.
And John Carrington, being pedantic, but I'm a pedant myself. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'll read it out. Sorry, being pedantic, but an NIE is a number. So saying NIE number is saying number. You're quite right. But it's just such a common way of saying it. And it also makes it clear that the NIE is a number, because when people say NIE, sometimes they mean TIE. And that's also when you say TIE card, because T stands for tarjeta, which is card. So you're saying card as well. It's just like saying what do you call it? The monsoon season. The monsoon is a season, so you're saying season. This is a common way of using words, but yeah, I'm a pedant too, a bit of a grammar Nazi as well. So yeah, I like it. Thanks, John. And Paul says, Chris, can I contact you? If you remember, I asked about changing my Berlingo from mixta adaptable to turismo. You might know someone can help. Sorry, I know it's not today's topic.
Yeah, sure. Just drop us an email. And if we can't do it, we'll see if there's anybody in your area that can.
Brilliant. And Barry says, my friend is currently in surgery as having an operation for cancer. He'll be fine, as will you, Skatz. Yes, I'm getting more and more confident. The more people say, it's going to be fine. And he messaged me this morning with a smiley photo. Yeah, I'll make sure there are plenty of smiley photos when I'm doing it. I'd love to be able to take them while I'm in the radiotherapy room, but I don't think you're allowed any kind of metallic objects in there, or anything that can get. You'd probably wipe your camera phone of everything if you used it in that room. It's like right downstairs in the depths of the hospital, isn't it, Chris? There's a lead-lined rooms down there, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Get down there.
Yeah.
Down that scary staircase.
Yes, it'll be glowing when you come out. And Paul says also maybe chat sometime about non-lucrative visas, so you know my circumstances for a couple years' time. There we go. So
if you can book, if it's a couple of years, book a call on the website. Unfortunately, the calls now are nearly running at the end of April, May, because there's only a certain amount we accommodate for. But Paul, jump on the website, look for book a call, and book another call in, and then we'll have half an hour chat about your plans. And the Berlingo as well.
Great stuff. David Dax says, I heard in the week that the EU is to change the visa so we can work and live long in the EU. Oh, I don't know where you heard that. Steph says, looking forward to the show with you, Chris and Antonio. Yeah, me too. That sounds good. Robert says, gotta go, chaps. Great show. As always, Chris, hopefully speak next week when apostilles come back. Good luck for next week. Skatz will be thinking of you. Thanks very much. And Jer says, thanks, guys. You're both real gentlemen. I appreciate your response. Goran Mathagot. There you go. There's some Irish for you. That's how the Irish say thank you. It's long. It's very long. Something like God give you good cheer or something like that. I think that's the long translation. Maybe Jer can tell me. And I think I said it. I think I said the plural one, didn't I? I don't know. You can tell me that. Oh, Susan McGee has a question. These questions keep coming in. We are going to have to finish because Chris has to go. My husband was changing from NLV to green card, okay, and was told that he hadn't brought a certificate of concordance. That's called
Yeah,
concordancia.
I answered this on my weekly update actually, because this is a strange. The certificate of concordance, they call it certificado de concordancia, basically shows your history of passports or names, if there's any sort of questions about if you had a previous name or something. But we've never ever come across that when we've been doing the switch. And I think, Susan, you were over in the Canaries, if I remember correctly. So this is this is down to the extranjería. So we've done NLV to green card switches in Alicante, Granada, and Malaga so far successfully. And none of those places ever asked for a certificate of concordance. What they did ask was for the previous passport. We had a problem in Granada where the person just didn't understand how to do it on the computer, and we had to go back to when the boss was there, and they tell us, no, you do it like this, and that's fine. But we've never ever been asked for that. That's normally, we once got asked when there was a EU beneficiary, someone who was married, had changed their names, and we managed to get around that as well. But it seems to be something that's specific to your area.
It's a strange one, isn't it? There you go.
When you say need to appeal, when you're switching from NLV to EU, it's like the same appointment we went to with you, Skatz. So they either say yes or no. So not like when you're on a third country national platform where you have to wait for your permission. So as an EU citizen, you go in and you register. You get your registry card. Yeah. So and if they don't give it to you, they normally say, well, you've got to come back with something else. You don't have to appeal against that decision. You've just not got the paperwork with you. Whereas as a third country national, if you get denied your residency, then you would have to appeal against that. So yeah, that's it's a strange one. Maybe I don't know the whole story.
Yeah, maybe you need to get in touch there, Chris. Susan, with Chris.
Book a call in.
Yeah, book a call. So as we move towards rounding up the show, if you've got any more quick questions, then put them on the live chat. And while we're waiting for any more questions to come in, let me just remind you that if you've got questions after we've gone off the air, and or comments or anything like that, then you can put them in the YouTube comments below. Don't put them on some random Facebook expat group, because it won't help everybody else that's watching this video, which will be in the thousands, rather than the one person who will get the message back on the Facebook expat group, which will be me. And nobody else will benefit, because that will be for free. Everyone will benefit on here. It's a win-win-win with the cherry on top. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and click on the bell if you haven't already, so you'll be the first to know what's coming up each week on the live shows and the midweek videos. Let's see if any more comments are here. Jerbork says, got a millimatagard means 1,000 welcomes to you. Thank you for that. Jason saying, thanks for info during the show and answering my questions. You are welcome. Jer says, I'll be in touch via the website. Best wishes for next week, brother. In true Irish fashion, I will light a candle for you. Thank you, that's beautiful. Okay, so that's all the questions. Anything else to say, Chris, before we go?
I know my mate Glenn lit a candle for you as well, because he does that occasionally. He did. I never told you that. But,
so thanks to Glenn.
Up in the Ermita in Cartama, where he goes walking.
Very nice.
I think that's all from me.
Yeah, so that's all the questions for now. So before we find out what's happening on next week's show, it's the Easter show, if there is going to be a show. I don't know, I might just take the day off. So let's all say huge thank you to Chris for helping so much. Give him a massive virtual hug and a kiss, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers for now. Bye-bye. So, who do we have next week? Well, as I said, I'm not really sure yet. I haven't got a guest booked in, and I am tempted because I've asked a few people and they've said, well, it's Easter weekend, so I'm busy. And I remember when we did the show, it was actually Chris that did the Easter show, last year, and we didn't get that many people watching because it was Easter weekend. Everybody was out at some kind of events. Lots of finding eggs in fields, in places and things like that. That's what you do at Easter. That's what Jesus would have done. So anyway, so I might just take a break unless there's a guest that wants to come on, or maybe I'll ask Liz to come on and we'll do a show together and talk about whatever we want to talk about. Anyway, if you want to ask any questions for that potential show or any other show, then have your questions ready, just or prepare yourself for a lovely random chat. And in the meantime, you can always ask questions in advance on the Facebook page, the Facebook group, or under any of the videos. Jason says, do a pre-recorded show instead of live. It's not a bad idea. Or maybe what I could do is just do a replay of last year's show, because we were talking about Semana Santa, which is the Easter week, Saints week, and all of the different... I showed loads and loads of pictures of the Malaga parades and things like that. So they are amazing. So I could always do a replay of that one. And yes, that will save me a lot of time and effort on this first week of my treatment. Anyway, so thanks to all of you again for joining us on the live chat, and for watching the video back afterwards and leaving comments and hitting the like button, and either buying me a coffee.com or floating your phone over this GoFundMe and donating to that. I will see you either on the Wednesday evening video. That might be another driving video. I hope you enjoyed the driving video on the roads up and down to Competa. I've got the second half of that video, which is all about driving on the motorways. I might just do that at 8 times the speed and do it really, really short, and just put a load of sound effects on it just for a laugh. Anyway, if I don't see you on that video, I'll see you on the video diary on Friday, and you'll hear everything about the first week's treatment, or I'll see you on Saturday morning, hopefully at the regular time of 9 o'clock if you're in the UK or Ireland or the Canaries, or 10 o'clock if you're in Spain or Central Europe. And that's all for this week. Somebody pass around those special cookies. What should we call them? We'll call them the what is it? What's the bulletin called? Let's minimize that. The Bowie, we'll call it Bowie cookies today. Somebody pass around the Bowie cookies. So peace and love, peas and fluff, and one final message from all of us here at YouTooSpain. Cheers for now. Bye bye. Bye. Goodbye. Toodaloo. Peace and love. Peas and fluff. Oi oi. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. One more cosmic dance? All right then. Look, Mum, I'm dancing. Oh, I'm all a quiver. Let's dance.